Who actually has the right to Israel? That's a question on the table today on the Bill Maher Show with Oliver Stone. I'm Tall the Traveling Glad, your favorite Zionist prince, a white colonizer who has zero right to live in Israel because I'm a white colonizer. Let's take a look at this clip.
Right. Israel's the only place where they had the deal on the table in 1947. Let's split up the country. The Jews were like, okay, we'll do that. We'll take half. Israel was very small the way it was originally drawn up. They said, no, we'll attack you and try to kill you and take it all. They failed. Then they attacked again in 56 and 67 and 73, and they are still attacking. They could have peace so easily. Just stop attacking. Do you really think after all this time, this from the river to the sea, really? You're going to get rid of Israel? They're going to just disappear? What a deluded way to look at the world, even if you believed in it. Like, Israel is not going anywhere. Let's deal with that reality. There's no river to the sea. You're not going to get from the river to the sea. This is the fundamental problem. They don't ever make a deal.
What does that mean, river to the sea?
That's what they chant all the time. It's a way to say Israel is no more, from the river, the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. In other words, we will have all that land, which you never had because, well,
it goes back to the Indian problem. What do you think about our taking Indian land?
Right. Well, the Jews are the Indians of that land. They were there 1,500 years before Muhammad was born.
That's the way the Palestinians feel.
This is factual. Jerusalem was the capital, King David's capital, in 1000 BC. Muhammad is born in 570 AD.
Yes.
Okay. There was a continuous Jewish population, Jerusalem.
Yes.
Okay, it was their
But there were
capital.
Canaanites and Palestinians there.
Well, there were cavemen before that. I'm sure.
How do you know? Cavemen?
Well, I'm sure, weren't there cavemen everywhere before they were humans?
I think you're a little discriminating there. What about the
cavemen?
What about the Crusaders in 1099?
1099.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Why not just charge $11?
What?
No. Yes,
so
I know.
stupid.
The taking of Jerusalem.
Yeah, it was slaughtered everything.
Right. That was the Second Crusade? First Crusade. Right. Pope Innocent, is that who proclaimed that?
I forgot the name, but
I think it was, because I was
Pope Innocent, that's a great name.
It's such a great name for that, yes.
But since then...
Here's the bit to chime in, by the way. No problem if you want to make the claim the Crusades or the Palestinians or Canaanites. They're not, but let's just say that they are. Fine. But we don't have a problem with anybody living here. We have 2 million Palestinians who live with us, 2 million to our east, 2 million to our west. We literally do not discriminate against the idea of Palestinians living with us. We acknowledge that everybody has a right to live in this land together. They're the ones who their whole identity is predicated on the idea of ethnically cleansing us from here. We don't actually have an issue with them living with us. That's what I'm proud of as an Israeli.
Since then, every crusade failed, and this is another crusade. Now, I admit to you that this crusade it's a very complicated story, but the guilt that Germany faces, it's ironic that Germany ends up attacking the Hamas and saying, yeah, you're driving out, Netanyahu saying, look, 2.5 million people better get out of town now and fast. And it's never been done. The Germans wouldn't have done that in their worst day, in their worst nightmare. This is why Netanyahu is fucking too much. He's crazy that way. And I spent a lot of time with, Shimon Peres, so I know the other side of the Israeli peace party.
Right.
Although a lot of people distrusted Shimon too.
No, the Palestinians
could
have had their own country a number of times. Most recently, 2000, the Oslo Accords, 97% of the West Bank. Was the deal perfect? No, no deal ever is. But if they had taken that deal and then shown the Israelis that, okay, we can live side by side without importing fucking rockets from Iran and shooting them at you, and we can police our own militants, then maybe we can grow into more like normal neighbors. But Israel is going to have to keep a little eye on you because you do nothing but try to attack them and make them cease to exist. Is that not reasonable?
Yeah, in 2008, Hamas won the election in that West Bank.
Well, they won their first election, and then there was no more elections.
Yeah, because the Israelis didn't want it.
They pulled out.
Hamas was the legitimate political faction in that area. And the Israelis would not accept that. They made Hamas into a terrorist organization.
Well, that's the thing.
Every single point you mention is a counterpoint.
But when people say, like, well, it's just the Islamic world, you're a horrible Islamophobe, Bill, and, you're... No, I'm just talking about what the reality is. The reality is that very often when you give people, Muslim populations in lots of different countries, this has happened, the choice, they will elect. In Egypt, it was the Muslim Brotherhood. In Gaza, it was...
And they were thrown out by a dictator.
By a dictator, right. Gaza, it was, Hamas. Algeria, it happened. I remember there was, have the people have a say. And then the army has to go, you know what, the people kind of fucked up. And we don't want this very Islamic, faith-based government. And they take over and...
that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem with the two-state solution.
Well,
because the truth is that it will never work. That two-state solution is bullshit.
But I'm also saying governments are a reflection of the people, here as well as there.
The U.S. government, too, has been backing Israel too much and giving it way too much credibility and saying we're supporting you no matter what. And we're making so many enemies throughout the world. Biden is flying in there like some Superman, and he's going to find out the truth.
So you'll never vote for Biden again?
Never.
Never?
Never.
No matter who it runs
again.
Well,
he'll be dead by the time I vote again.
Well, but we wish him well, Oliver. We wish him well. But so even Trump, you'd vote?
I think Biden has got some psychopathic problem with Russia. I really do.
Hey, thanks for watching the clip. Hit the subscribe button now.
I like Bill Maher's new chilled out podcast style show. It's kind of nice. Oliver Stone is really it's very important for him to bring up the counterpoints, and that's fine. But let's establish something real quick. Hamas is not the ideology that the Palestinian people held before Hamas turned into a terrorist group. It's true that Hamas started as a charity organization, but it very quickly became an Arabist Islamo-fascist charity organization, and then all it needed was a little bit of funding that didn't exclusively come from Israel, by the way. And it's when we talk, always people like to throw Israel under the bus and say, well, Israel funded Hamas. It's not like they had much of another option with a different party. Yeah, regardless of what the Israeli administration had said about this being good for their political prowess, the PLO was the other option, which was a terrorist group as well. When we say all these counterpoints, well, Hamas, Israel made Hamas, Israel this and that, brother, this is the Palestinian identity. This is the Palestinian behavior. Palestinian identity only forms in 1967. As a national identity, it forms in 67. And from the second of its inception, it resists the existence of Israel and the Jewish people, more specifically, in this land. Not Jewish people self-determining, Jewish people living in this land. And it stems back before 67 to the time of Haj Amin al-Husseini in the 1930s. Who met with Hitler, who instigated the expulsion of Mizrahi Jews in the diaspora. Yes, a Palestinian is the one who caused 1 million Mizrahi Jews, for the most part, to escape their countries and come to Palestine. Imagine that. A Palestinian is literally the reason behind why my family ended up in Palestine, quote unquote. There you go. The whole thing is interconnected. So Oliver Stone's classification of trying to find, and I get it. I like to play devil's advocate too. It's not very well educated. I hate this idea of infantilizing Palestinians. We don't infantilize Israel. The Israeli army is made up of Israeli civilians, mostly Israeli civilians who want to enlist in the army. Yes, there's a forced draft, but Israelis want to draft in the army. It's something people look up to. It's something that they want to do. It's a part of our culture to defend our country. Every single person in my family is an IDF veteran. Every single person. For the most part, 99% of the people that you walk around have either given national service or are a veteran in the country, besides the Arab population who doesn't have to, which is also kind of fucked up. So let's not pretend. We don't infantilize Israelis or Jews for wanting to serve in the IDF. Why do we continuously look for the silver lining in Palestinian society when they've never shown us a desire to be the silver lining? They're not interested in coexisting with Jews. That's never been a mainstream talking point of Palestinians. It's always been the minority talking point in Palestinian society. Does it exist? It does. But they're not interested in coexisting with us. Let's stop pretending. Like, why do we need to try to make them look like babies all the time and say, well, this is what they want. They actually want peace. Hamas is just a terrorist group that's holding them hostage. No, they love Hamas and they love Hamas's ideology. The only reason why they don't like Hamas now is because Hamas is leeching and stealing from their food and getting fat while they're starving. That's the only reason they reject Hamas now. But give them a terrorist group that's more successful and it's the same exact ideology as Hamas, they're going to run towards it because that's the predominant ideology, not just in Gaza, but in the West Bank, and honestly, in the wider Middle East. In countries like Lebanon, it's a big, very popular thing. In Syria, extremely popular. In Egypt, extremely popular. Stop infantilizing Arabs. Let them be. That's racist, by the way, Oliver Stone. Stop infantilizing them. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.